Another example. I'm sharing my own work here with you because I know my own thought process in it, so it makes it easier to teach it. This is called a tiny disturbance. Here's Quincy, unable to sleep. She lies in bed beneath the quilt her mother made for her sweet 16. Behind closed eyelids, Quincy sees herself pushing for honor roll. She sees herself set for the winning shot, sees herself nodding yes to her parents, yes to her school teachers, and yes to her pushy boyfriend with the wad in his pants. Yes to all of them, but now, sleepless, no, no, no. She feels as though her mind has been lacquered, each snapshot an image in the collage of a tightly molded life. Tossing onto her side, she kicks the quilt off the edge of the bed. It's hand-stitched, Quincy, right down to the ribbing, her mother had said, nudging the petal-patterned fabric across the dining room table. I don't know what to say, Quincy said, and she didn't. What could she possibly say under the bulk of such domesticity? A quilt. She'd probably love it someday, when she turned 40. She rolls onto her other side now, exhaling impatiently. When it gets this bad, there's a scene Quincy draws in her mind's eye, conjuring fields without fences, blue sky for miles and miles. This is not the business of counting sheep. It is Quincy, all 16 matured years of her, running across those fields, breathless, happy, light. More than anything, this helps her ease into dreams. In the morning, Quincy makes her bed before school, hands smoothing wrinkles from the quilt. She works left to right, back and forth, aligning the corners over the box frame. And there, along the bottom edge of the fabric, a thread dangles freely, thin as a strand of hair. Quincy tugs it, surprised by how easily it gives. A few inches of stitching unravel around the rim of a rose, the pattern disrupted. It's a tiny disturbance, but for now it is enough. For now, she thinks yes, yes, yes. So we start right away in a scene, and here's her setting. This is happening in real time. She can't sleep and she's in bed. We're in the present moment. This is happening in real time. She closes her eyes. She's imagining all these pressures. These are like the details of the collarbone, kissing the collarbone in the mouth. They're not accidental. They're going to prove to be useful later. So she's nodding yes to her parents, yes to her school teachers, all these things. Then we're going to leave that present moment behind. So this first paragraph here, we have we know where we are. We're in a bed. She can't sleep. And we have the circumstances that outsize her, right? Goes back to that very one of the defining characteristics. She can't do anything about all these pressures. They are what they are. Now, pay attention here. Right here, this is the beginning of the flashback. Her mother had said. It indicates that we're moving back in time. We know now as readers that she's remembering this very brief moment. And this is it. The flashback is only these lines. It's hand-stitched. I don't know what to say. That's it. Very brief. We return to the present moment here. She rolls onto her side, exhales, a little bit more fantasy. She's trying to ease herself into sleep. We continue moving forward through time. She's making her bed. And then we lyric our way out, so to speak, with this metaphor, because the loose thread is disrupting the pattern, which is the metaphor for the disrupting the pattern of her life that feels overwhelming to her, right? So in this piece, we have the right word length, we have the circumstances that outsize her and her reaction. It's so tiny. She's just pulling that thread, but something clicks inside of her. If her mother was in the room, mom has no idea, right? That's that lyric writing. That's that smart surprise. It's so tiny, but it's like the world is like, but our world is no longer the same. The structure is what really matters here, because this is one of the most successful structures I have had in writing my own flashes and in teaching it. As I said, ages like 9 all the way up through MFA. I taught this at the MFA in writing program in Solstice in Boston. 1 paragraph or so, present moment, dip into a flashback. This flashback here is really, really short. Some are going to be way longer, 2, 3 paragraphs, maybe a full scene in conversation, who knows? This one happens to be short. Key is you return to the present moment, and the story ends when that shift happens. Now, this flashback is not random either. I don't, in terms of Kelly's question about process, no, I had no idea when I was writing this why it mattered. But later, in fine-tuning the word choice of this brief flashback here, it seems clear that the flashback demonstrates this pressure, and that it's like a life path for Quincy unless she does something to change it. Oh, quilts? Maybe she'll like it when she turns 40 and becomes the woman that everyone in her life is telling her she needs to be, right? So the flashback she has isn't about her sweet 16 birthday party when she, finally got to go on a date with so-and-so that she had a crush on. That flashback wouldn't mean anything in this story. It wouldn't work, even if it was written with the best sentences in the world. So in this present moment flashback, present moment structure, the choosing matters as well. And the choosing, it doesn't always come out whole, but these are little pieces of information that we get. So when you have a student who chooses a flashback, that first draft, maybe the flashback isn't the right one, or when in your own work, it might work the other way around. Maybe you choose the flashback. Holy cow, that flashback is really ripe with meaning. And you now know you're going to go back and change some of the wording in your first paragraph and change some of the wording in your ending, so that the lyricism is sort of syncing up, right?